Welcome back to Chefing with Shane. Today we're making a delicious chicken parm. Guys, who doesn't like chicken parm? The marinara, the cheese, the breaded chicken on top of the noodles. Guys, you can't go wrong. This is a classic. Stick with me and let's make this together. One of the key steps to making delicious chicken parm is pounding out your chicken nice and flat, making sure it's about a ½ inch. And honestly, I cut most of my chicken breasts in half to begin with, so a lot of these are already where we need them to be. But if not, go ahead, throw some cling wrap down, smack them down with the hammer, thin them out, because otherwise they're gonna cook unevenly, they're gonna take longer to cook, they're gonna be dry. So make sure they're all about a ½ inch in thickness. I'm also just gonna pat these dry with paper towel. And all right, now let's go ahead and get this breading in order. The next step before we do any of that breading is we're gonna go ahead down with salt and pepper. I have just a teaspoon of each. So just make sure that it's nice in there. Looks good to me. The next step is gonna be, we got 2 tablespoons of flour here. And we're just gonna sift that through onto this chicken so there's no big clumps. All right, and after these are coated up nice, we're gonna go ahead and set these aside, get our egg wash and our seasoning ready. Next, into a smaller bowl, we're just gonna crack in 2 eggs. And we're just gonna beat these together. Now into a larger separate mixing bowl, we're gonna go in there with a cup of seasoned Italian breadcrumbs. You can use panko, you can use whatever. Now we're going in there with 3/4 cup grated Parmesan cheese. And we're just gonna go ahead and mix that up. Get any clumps of cheese out of there, make them nice and fine. Looks good to me. Okay, at this point, chicken's been sitting there for a little bit with that flour. I'm gonna go ahead, simply put it in that egg wash, drip off any excess. Put that in there. Again, like I said, drip off any excess. Throw it in the panko. Press it in there. Flip it over. And guys, optimally, you're gonna use one hand for wet, one hand for dry, because trust me, this is gonna get messy either way, but it's gonna get even messier if you put both of your hands in there. It just gets so just goopy. And when you feel like you have a nice breading on there, just gonna go ahead, shake off the excess, set it on top of that tray. We're just gonna end up letting those sit for about 15 minutes because you want that breading to soak in there nice. Plus, you're gonna need a little bit of time for our oil to get ready. All right, guys, now that this chicken's all breaded up, I keep saying seasoned, I meant breaded. You guys know what I mean. Now that it's all seasoned, we're gonna let it kind of sit there, marinate in its own beautiful breadingness for 15 minutes. In that time, I'm gonna use that time to clean up a little bit, and then we're gonna start getting a pan with about a ½ inch of oil up to medium-high heat. We're gonna fry these just partially, and then we're gonna go ahead and bake these to finish off the cooking process. But I'm gonna clean up and I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, guys, went ahead, got a pot up to boil. We're gonna boil up some spaghetti noodles to put this chicken parm on. And now we're gonna go ahead and get some oil in this pan, about 1/2 inch up, and start getting that heated up. You can use any oil you would like that has a high smoking point. I'm gonna go ahead and just use some vegetable oil here. You can use olive oil, anything you find. We're gonna go ahead, medium-high heat, get this nice and heated up. Now that our water is beginning to boil, I'm gonna go ahead and put in my noodles. And honestly, I thought I had spaghetti noodles, but turns out they were fettuccine. So we're just gonna add them in anyways, because that's the closest thing we got to spaghetti today. So they'll come out just fine. And you're just gonna keep your noodles in there, boil those up until al dente. You're obviously gonna wanna salt your pasta water. Always salt your pasta water. It completely changes. If you don't believe me, try it out for yourself. All right, at this point, our oil is ready to go. We're gonna put our chicken in there. We're gonna cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes, about 2 minutes per side. We're not cooking this chicken completely through. All we're doing is we're getting a nice golden brown crust. Now we're also gonna wanna preheat the oven to 450 degrees because we're gonna bake this chicken. So you're gonna wanna get a plate aside for when this chicken is done getting fried. All right, after it's been a couple minutes and the chicken is nice and brown on both sides, we're gonna take it out, transfer it over to a plate. Because at this point, your chicken is not done. It is just nice and crispy. We still have one piece left. Put that one in there for a couple minutes. So right now we got our noodles going, got our oven preheating, our chicken frying up, get nice and crispy. And then we're getting ready to go ahead and put the sauce and the cheese on this chicken and put it in the oven. All right, looks like this last piece of chicken's done. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. Golden brown, all these pieces are beautiful. Now we're gonna go ahead and put these on our rack and sauce them up. All right, so now that our chicken nice and crispy, we're gonna go ahead, our oven's still preheating, which is perfect, because we're gonna go ahead in here and we're gonna throw our chicken down. Perfectly fits on this pan. We're gonna go ahead and, guys, I'm gonna be honest today, I didn't make sauce from scratch. I'm using Prego. I didn't even shred up that cheese, guys. And, you know, the truth is, we don't always have time to make these meals completely from scratch. The fact of the matter is, anytime you can eat healthy, healthier, you know, avoid going through the drive-thru, avoid ordering a pizza, save a little bit of money, have a great meal with the family, the kids. It's a success. It doesn't always have to be from scratch. You could save those for the weekends, because guys, we all know during the week, you come home, you work, you're not trying to whip up a whole meal from scratch. So I didn't shred up this cheese today, but I'm using Italian style shredded cheese. We're gonna go ahead and just throw that on there. Trust me, it'll melt. Will not be as good as fresh cheese, of course not, but gets the job done. And you don't want to overdo it with the marinara and cheese, because even too much of a good thing can ruin it. So that looks great to me. And now we're just going to chop up a little bit of fresh basil, throw that on there, and we're going to get this in the oven. And guys, I don't know what happened, but I just bought this basil and like 90% of it was bad. I was able to salvage a couple leaves, but It happens. At least this should be okay. Noodles just finished, just tasted one. It's the perfect consistency. Oven's almost preheated up to 435. It's gotta go up to 450. I'm gonna drain these off, set them aside, get this chicken in the oven. All right, got the oven at 450. Gonna pop those in there for 15 to 20 minutes or until your chicken is at 165. All right, guys, oven timer's going off. And we're gonna go ahead and get this chicken out of there. And my, oh my, does that look absolutely beautiful. God, look at those. That is just so beautiful. Now we're gonna get this off. Let these cool off a little bit because those are really, really hot. I did have a small pot of marinara on the stove for the noodles because you want to sauce those up a little bit too. But oh my God, guys. God, just look at those. My goodness. Whew. All right, guys, food's done. Started cutting into it already. It is hot, but it is so beautiful. It smells so good. And I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna try a piece of this chicken because honestly, that's what we're here for. These noodles were store-bought, guys. Come on, we're here for this chicken. Let's try it out. That chicken is absolutely delicious, seasoned perfectly, just the right amount of sauce. That cheese adds a nice little flavor, fresh basil. Guys, this is a classic. Who doesn't love chicken parm? And you guys should try this one out for yourself. Don't forget, like, subscribe, check out some other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.